When it comes to an ontology, the most basic distinction that needs to be made is what it means for something to exist and what it means for something to not exist. Under materialism, if X exists, X consists of material, and if X lacks material, then it does not exist. But what exactly does that mean? And what does it mean in regards to concepts and minds? And more importantly, what is material? Well, that's not an easy question to answer, so it's going to take a few parts to define what it means to be material, because several distinctions need to be made. Therefore, let's take a step-by-step approach. Also, I need to emphasize again that this series is merely about explaining materialism, not about defending it. Moreover, an ontology is simply a set of beliefs about the nature of what exists and what doesn't. So an ontology by itself is neither meant to prove anything, nor is it able to prove anything. In other words, if materialism is true, then all that exists is material. The if is a matter of epistemology, or more accurately, what would justify the if. What comes after the if is a matter of ontology, namely what materialism means. And that is what this series is about. So I'm not proving anything, I'm simply explaining what materialism is about. Let's first focus on the distinction between existence and non-existence and build from there. So what does non-existence, absolute nothing, consist of? What attributes does it have? What is it capable of? What does it do? How does it relate to anything else? Well, nothing does not consist of anything, has no attributes, and cannot do anything. It's nothing, it's non-existence. In fact, even talking about it, we aren't actually talking about nothing, but the concept of nothing. Nothing isn't even there to be referred to. Remember that nothing and non-existence are simply labels like any other words are. So what is most foundational in a materialist ontology? Activity, ability, relating to, and attributes can only be ascribed to what exists, not to what does not exist. A prerequisite for doing, being a certain way, relating to something else, etc. is existing. Activity, ability, relationship and attribute are not existence themselves but require existence. Let's call this entity. That third statement is really one of the most basic distinctions to understand in order to understand materialism. The distinction between X is and X does, X is and X can, X is and X relates to, and X is and X is like, or X has, if you will. Please note that this is not in and of itself the claim that you can have this without this, only that in order to have this, you need to have this. In other words, in order to say that X has, first X must be. In order to say that X is like, first X must be. In order to say that X relates to Y, first X must be as well as Y. Okay, so far so good, but this doesn't really tell us anything in and of itself. So far we only have this. Nothing is nothing, does nothing, has nothing, is capable of nothing. Doing, being able to, relating to, having, etc. are not existence entities, but require existence entities. So how do we continue from here? Let's focus on the following terms: object, subject and concept. And let's see if we can make some distinctions from which we can construct a more concise, more meaningful and more useful ontology. Because we haven't yet answered the question, what is material? But we have taken the most basic step we need to take in order to answer that question.